Yo, what is going on, guys? Flashverse here, and welcome back to another video on Superman and Lois Season 2, and this will be my ending explained theory video for Superman and Lois Season 2, Episode 2, titled The Ties That Bind. I will give you guys my quick initial thoughts on the episode before I break down the ending and theorize about what's to come. But I do just want to give you guys a quick warning. It is really windy outside. So if you guys hear some like weird noises in the background, I apologize for that. But yeah, just so you guys know, if you hear any weird noises, because it's really windy and the trees are probably hitting my window, so that's the main reason why. But I apologize in advance if you guys do end up hearing some weird noises in the back. But giving you guys my quick initial thoughts on this episode before I break down the ending. We do see more of Natalie, which was something I really liked about this episode. She did have some great interactions with the boys. It was very little, but she did have some great interactions with them. And the highlight with Natalie was obviously the interactions she had with Sarah and her like fixing the car and all that stuff. I really liked that, and I cannot wait to see what's more to explore with her character. We had more of the mysterious headaches and visions going on with Clark as well, and we finally found out what is happening. Most of us have already assumed what was the cause of it, but we did get the actual reveal during this episode. Another thing I also really liked was how they were able to get all these characters involved in such a great way, where you just don't get bored. Like, even with Lana's story in the episode, you're interested in it, so that was something I really liked. We had a bunch of other cool stuff, such as a returning character, Jordan using more of his abilities, and most of all, the ending was pretty damn interesting, and I cannot wait to talk about everything related to the ending and what's to come. But before I go over anything, however, you guys don't forget to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel so you are aware of more Arrowverse content coming your way. So throughout the episode, we had this storyline where Lois was investigating the earthquake that took place in the previous episode. So we have her and Chrissy Beppo interviewing this Amertech lady, and she's essentially the head of this project, or something along those lines at least. But essentially what this lady does is that she reassures Lois that the event of the earthquake is not because of their mining, because they didn't even dig that deep in the first place, so it's impossible that they would have been the cause of the earthquakes. So there is definitely a bigger reasoning for it. So Lois gets the help of John Henry Irons for this, and they pretty much set up a seismic device so that they're able to analyze the seismic activity of the next earthquake. But upon Doomsday's next attack in the mines, the readings Lois and John get from the seismic monitor are off the charts. So now they are in realization that there is something else that is down the mines that is causing these earthquakes. But yeah, we did also find out that the reason why Clark has been getting these visions in the first place is because of Doomsday's earthquakes. So we did find out that they were linked, and I would presume it is only going to get worse and worse as Doomsday plots to escape from the mines. But as the ending scene of the episode, we did get this Amertech lady getting a phone call, and we did find out what she was actually up to, in which it was obviously no good, as she receives this phone call from someone, and she pretty much does talk about the fact that they've found what they've been looking for and how it is much powerful than they've originally anticipated. So from this, it does look like we will be having a secondary villain on the show. So Doomsday will not be the only villain. But in regards to who this secondary villain could be, I do have two theories. So the first option, and it's the most likelier option out of the two, but it is Lieutenant Anderson. From what we were able to gather from episodes 1 and 2, he's a very unlikable person. He's pretty much a douchebag. He did create super soldiers using X-Kryptonite due to him and Superman not being on the same page, whilst giving them the House of Elcrest as well, something he had absolutely no right to do so. Additionally, he takes someone who is barely 18 years old out there in the field, inexperienced, and he's very unlikable because of that, and you do clearly see that whenever he appears in the episodes. And you do see that he just doesn't care about anything else besides doing what's best for the DoD as well as his country. So maybe what's going to happen is that Anderson is essentially going to use Doomsday as a way to stop Superman in case Clark continues to ignore his requests. Because we know that Clark is always going to do what what's best for everyone. That's the character Superman is. He just serves everyone. He doesn't serve just one specific country, and Anderson doesn't like that. So he's going to use Doomsday as a way to stop Clark from doing that, and it's basically ruining with his plan. So Anderson's going to use Doomsday as a way to stop Clark, and he's going to use his DoD soldiers as well. But Anderson also knows for sure that the super soldiers of the DoD stand no chance against Superman. Superman would absolutely mop the floor clean with them, and that is why I think Anderson knows that he's going to need something bigger and more powerful to stop Superman, and that is what leads him to bringing Doomsday out of the mines. He's going to use Doomsday as a weapon to stop Superman. We could expect something like when Doomsday is summoned, he will not be loyal to the DoD and he will essentially betray Anderson, and he will pretty much cause massacre around Smallville, which will make him an even bigger threat because he would just be free on the loose and Anderson wouldn't be able to do anything about it. That's what I think is gonna go on. The second theory is that Lex Luthor could be the one behind the phone call and behind the one who's investigating these mines. We could potentially be getting Lex Luthor as a villain on Superman and Lois. I know a lot of people would really like to see Jon Cryer's Lex Luthor make some sort of a return to the Arrowverse, but this time serve as a villain against Superman rather than Supergirl. And it would be really interesting to see this rivalry between those two because it's something that we haven't seen, and we do know that they've had this ongoing rivalry for years across the Arrowverse. It was off screen, but we do know that they've had such a long rivalry, and it would just be really cool to just explore that and actually see that on the show. So maybe after Morgan Edge's attack, he tried to mine for X-Kryptonite to find other ways to take down Superman, and eventually he would find out that there is this beast-like being down there, and he basically gets everyone into those mines to go on and investigate what's going on. And now that the lady tells this person on the phone, who in this theory we're saying Lex Luthor is the person on the phone, but this lady essentially mentions that they found what they're looking for, and this beast is more powerful than originally expected. So we could have it so that Lex Luthor uses Doomsday to kill Superman because he knows that he won't be able to do it, so he's going to get somebody else to do it. So that's how Doomsday could also play into it along with Lex Luthor as well. That is also very possible. The only thing is, I don't know if Jon Cryer was in Vancouver after the events of the Supergirl series finale, which is why I'm leaning more along the lines of the fact that the person behind the phone is actually Lieutenant Anderson, not Lex Luthor. If he was in Vancouver, however, I would have said that my best guess would have been Lex Luthor, but because of that, my best guess would be Lieutenant Anderson. I think that we will expect some sort of a twist where he does actually end up being a villain rather than the good guy over here. Now, during this episode, we did also see Jordan become more confident with his abilities, and this was actually one of the aspects I really liked about this episode. Like, during the episode, we did see him sort of take this hero role where he pretty much stood up for his dad and defended his father against Morgan Edge, and he did even hurt Tal-Rah with his heat vision, and he did also punch him a couple of times as well. So that was really cool, and this was actually something I really liked, and this does show how much more powerful Jordan is becoming and his abilities are growing, and this does get me more confident to say that Jordan will definitely be Superboy by the end of the season. They did kind of hint to some sort of Superboy storyline during this episode where we had this talk between Jordan and Jonathan towards the end of the episode, and Jonathan did mention someone in their class bench pressing 300, so there is definitely something up with that. So this does lead me to believe that he could also be a potential X-Kryptonite user, and maybe this could lead to a villain for Jordan and Jonathan to take on, and Jordan will essentially have this Superboy setup by trying to defeat this villain. Something I would really like to see is him coming into realization that he wants to be just like his father. He wants to save people. So we could see him do something like small superhero stuff where he doesn't go against like big threats like what Superman does, but he goes against like smaller muggers, if you know what I mean. And he could use his abilities behind his parents' back. So we could see him stopping smaller crimes and helping people, and Jonathan could assist him with that. And then eventually we could have the parents finding out, and they would have like some ongoing conflict in regards to Jordan using his abilities to save people. And especially with the events of episode 2 where Tara almost killed Jordan, they certainly will not be on board with it at first, but eventually this could develop to Jordan becoming Superboy by the end of the season. I think that would be a really, really interesting storyline to explore, and I would really, really love to see it. But yeah guys, thanks for watching. If you guys have enjoyed the video, please give a like and subscribe. Be sure to tell me in the comment section down below who do you guys think is behind the phone. I'm interested to see all of your thoughts towards all of this as well. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video.